Hey everyone, it's me Bailey and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be diversifying my reads. So I am starting a new series on this channel where I am really prioritizing reading more diversely. So I feel like I try to go out of my way to find books that are written by more diverse authors. However, I'm not amazing at that. I'm not super good at that. I feel like I generally read what interests me. I feel like a goal of mine for the past couple of years has been to really prioritize reading more diversely, whether that be genre-wise or content-wise or author-wise or like character-wise. And so I wanted to start this little series here on my channel to really bring that to the forefront. So in this first installment of Diversifying My Reads, I am only going to be reading books by Black authors. So I have a stack of 4 books here that I'm hoping to read in this video, all by Black authors, and I feel like they each kind of fall into the genres that I typically like to read. So I am just going to kind of go over the TBR really quickly here. I'm not sure what order I'm going to be reading these books in, but the plan for this video is for me to get to all 4 of these books. So with that, let's just kind of go through the TBR really quickly. So first up, we've got Ace of Spades by Farida Abigay-Iyamide, and I have had this book on my TBR forever. This is a young adult mystery style thriller kind of book, and I've had this book on my TBR forever. I picked this up as a cover buy mainly because I think this cover is absolutely so stunning, but I've heard really amazing things about this book and I really want to read it. So today is the day that I am bumping this book to the top of my TBR, and I'm going to be reading this over the next few days. Next up on the TBR, we've got Curvy Girl Summer by Danielle Allen, and this is a romance, which we all know is one of my main genres of choice, so I'm super excited to read this book. Hopefully I'm going to really enjoy it. I got this recommended to me by one of my friends in book club, so I'm super excited to read this and hopefully I'm going to like it. Next up is one that I have been literally searching for it feels like forever at this point, and that is I, Medusa by Ayana Gray. And I literally could not find this book anywhere, and I finally found it one day randomly out in the wild, and it was the only copy that they had, so I snatched it so freaking fast because I was like, this book has been sold out everywhere, and now I got my hands on it and I am so excited to read this. I cannot wait to read this. I've heard such amazing things about this book, and so I'm super excited to get to it in the next few days. And then finally, the last book on this TBR for this video is Immortal Dark by Tigis Germa, and this is a vampire story. I believe this is young adult as well, but I am super intrigued by this book. I've heard that this book is absolutely amazing. I know that the second book recently just came out, and I am just very intrigued by this, and I'm hoping to really enjoy this book, and I feel like I am going to really enjoy this. Plus this edition is so stunning and I'm hoping that I'm going to love it. So these are the 4 books that I'm hoping to get to in today's video. So we'll see. I don't really know how long I have for this video. I'm just kind of like starting it randomly, so we'll see. I guess I'll just finish it when I finish it. So I feel like the first book that I'm probably going to start with is Curvy Girl Summer by Danielle Allen. I did just finish a dark academia book, so I feel like a romance is exactly what I need right now, so this is going to be the book that I pick up first. And I do actually have to run to go pick Navy up, so I am going to start the audiobook of this in the car. I was able to find it from my library, so I'm going to start the audiobook of this in the car while I run to go pick up Navy. And yeah, I'll give you some updates on this once I get a little bit further into the book. Okay, so I wanted to give my first update on Curvy Girl Summer. So I am on chapter 4, page 44, and I have to say this book so far is absolutely hilarious. It started off very kind of explicit with a sex scene on like the first page. Like it starts out and she's going to her ex's house and they're like getting it on and she's like, this was just a one night thing, and he's like, no, but like I want to get back together, and she's like, no. And then it ends up going into like her sister's like annual memorial party that her family hosts because her sister has passed away, and she ends up being introduced to this man while she's there, and her family just has this like really rude conversation with her about her being single at 29 and her weight, and just like very rude conversations. And it was like so awful. Like the things that her uncle was saying to her was absolutely disgusting, and she handled it so well and like didn't go off on anybody because that was brutal. And I will say, like, while that did suck being in her point of view, listening to the things that were being said about her, I felt like it was so realistic, and I felt like I really enjoyed being in her headspace during this time, and especially as someone who has had conversations like this before, being on the receiving end of it is not fun, and so I feel like I really relate to Aaliyah in that way. So I am excited to read more of this. I have been absolutely hooting and hollering while reading this book so far. I'm having the best time, and I'm definitely going to keep going. I do have class right now, so I will be picking this up a little bit later, but thought I would just put that update really quickly, and I will talk to you guys again soon once I've finished reading more of Curvy Girl Summer. So I have an update. I finished Curvy Girl Summer by Danielle Allen, and I'm rating this book 3.25 stars. I enjoyed this book, and it's a summer book, but it's not really a summer book. Like it takes place during the summer, but they're not doing a whole lot of summer activities. Like there is like a lake party, but other than that, like the summer activities aren't really there. But essentially we're following Aaliyah, and she is trying to convince her family that she has a boyfriend by her 30th birthday. So she basically tells her family like, hey, I have a guy that I've been seeing and he's gonna be my date to my 30th birthday, and then you guys can stop trying to set me up and, you know, do whatever you're doing because I'm fine, like I'm good. And so that is essentially like the premise, and she ends up going into this bar where she's supposed to have this first date with this man. It was a blind date that her coworker sets her up on, and he ends up standing her up, and she ends up having conversation with the bartender, and the bartender offers to kind of watch her back if she continues to come to the establishment for her first dates. And so she signs up for a dating app, and every first date that she has, she brings them to this bar. And of course the romance is between Aaliyah and Ahmed, the bartender. And he's more than just a bartender. Like he really only works at the bar like part-time because it's his family's bar, and he actually works in IT, which is what Aaliyah does as well. So they have like the same job essentially, just at different companies. And then he also helps his family out at the bar. So that's how he was working at the bar the night that she came in. And so they embark on a friendship that then turns into a relationship. And I will say that this is a pretty slow burn because they are cultivating this friendship, and it seems like Ahmed is married from like the beginning, which we learn that that isn't exactly the case, but I feel like that was a big like plot point in the book and a big like miscommunication that stemmed through a lot of things in this book, and a reason why they didn't get together like sooner probably. But I don't know, I feel like it was good. Like it was fine. It wasn't my favorite book ever, but I feel like I did really enjoy their friendship aspect, and I really liked the writing. So I definitely think that I would read more from Danielle Allen. I do want to read the other books in the series. There are 2 more books in the series. One of them is currently out and the second one is about to come out. So I definitely would read more from this author because I did have a good time. However, I just feel like the premise of this one just wasn't one that's my favorite, just because of the whole her dating other men after she's met the love interest type of situation. Like I personally am not a fan of that plot story, so that's why I didn't rate this book higher. But I really enjoyed the writing. This book was absolutely hilarious. The banter in it was top tier. Being inside of Aaliyah's head was just like, yeah, I really related to her in some aspects, and I'm happy that I read this, even if the plot itself wasn't my absolute favorite. But I definitely would read more from this author, and I would recommend this book. If you like the plot of someone hiring essentially like a dating coach sort of aspect, then I would definitely recommend this. I feel like you would like it. I personally just am not the biggest fan of like the dating coach trope. So with that, 3.25 stars to this. I am done with this. And so the next book that I'm going to be starting is going to be Ace of Spades by Farida Yamide, and I'm finally getting to this book. I've literally had this book I think since like 2019 or 2020, something along those lines. I've had this book forever, and now is the time that I'm finally going to read it. So I'm super excited to start this. I did grab the audiobook from my library, so I am going to start this in the car. I'm getting ready to leave. I have to head to my campus because I have a presentation to give tonight and class, so I'm gonna go do that really quickly. So I am going to start the audiobook in the car on the way. This is a like mystery thriller sort of vibe, I want to say, so I'm definitely interested to see what I'm going to think about this. It does say that there is a bit of like a little trigger warning here at the front that says Ace of Spades is a work of fiction but deals with many real issues including racism, homophobia, bullying, and suicidal ideation. So just be aware of that if you decide to pick this book up. But this is what I'm reading next. I'm gonna go finish getting ready to leave, and I will talk to you guys a little bit later once I have some updates on Ace of Spades. Sitting in my car because I have a few minutes before I need to go in for class, so I am picking up in the physical version where I left off on the audiobook. I'm just gonna do sort of like a immersive read situation. So I am on chapter 5 now, which is page 40. So I'll to listen to the first 40 pages while on my way to campus. And so I feel like I remember people saying that this was similar to Gossip Girl and Get Out, and so I'm definitely starting to kind of see why people would say that. Like, it's definitely giving Gossip Girl vibes and Get Out vibes, as in there's only 2 Black students at this school and everyone else is just like super rich, and one of our main characters, Devon, he is on scholarship, and the other one, Chiamaka I think is her name, she is like rich but her family has Italian money and not American money, so she's like viewed as like different than like the American rich students, which money is money, it doesn't make any sense to me. But so essentially there is this person or entity or something along the lines that has started sending out secrets to the school, very similarly to Gossip Girl, and it's kind of giving like Pretty Little Liars type vibes with like the text messages. It's giving like, because this is more like of a thriller type situation, it's giving like Pretty Little Liars vibes, but because of the text messages and being sent to the entire school, it's giving like Gossip Girl vibe, but it's also kind of giving Get Out vibes at the same time. But I still have quite a bit to go, obviously. In the book, I'm only 40 pages in, so I'm definitely interested to see where we're gonna go from here. So far, I'm enjoying it. Yeah, we've had quite a few revelations so far already in the first 40 pages, so if it keeps going like this, I feel like I'm going to really enjoy it. So I'm gonna keep reading for the next 20 minutes that I have to sit here, and I will update again probably like once I get home. I am now home from class and I do have some reading updates, but I did also just get my aardvark box, and this is a big one because I will say the aardvark books for this month were so good. There were 4 that I wanted to get, but I could only get 3. So you can only get like 1 book plus 2 add-ons. So there was 4 that I wanted to get, but I only ended up getting 3 of them. So let's open this and see what's inside. So this is the first time I've ever gotten more than 1 book in a month from Aardvark. So I'm excited. I think you get 1 bookmark per book that you get, which I know that other book services don't do that. So I'm excited to see. So right on top, I feel like this one is one that's a little bit out of my comfort zone, but it sounded really good. And that is Supervan by Jenny Tengwai Jang. Tingwai Zhang. I'm so sorry if I'm like absolutely butchering that last name, but this is honestly, I don't even know. I feel like this could be literary fiction potentially, but it's following this girl that is super obsessed with this boy band. And since I'm also in my fangirl era right now, I figured this one would be a good one to pick up. So I'm super excited to read this one and hopefully I'm going to like it. Plus, I'm really intrigued by this cover, so I'm excited to pick this one up. Then next, of course, is the romance pick for the month, and this is Love and Other Brain Experiments by Hannah Brahm. And I feel like this kind of reminded me of Ali Hazelwood's books, so I picked this up, and this is a debut, I believe, so I'm super excited to read this. Hopefully I'm going to like it, but I think this is a rivals workplace romance type situation, so I'm super excited to see if I'm going to like this. And then finally I got Adrift by Will Dean, and this is a mystery thriller book. I read the last one by Will Dean and really enjoyed that book. I ended up getting it from a little free library and really liked that book, so I wanted to read something else by this author. So since this was a pick for the month, this is my pick and I am super excited to read this. I cannot wait to pick this up. And for the extras, we've got the little postcard that has the other books from the month. The other book that I wanted was Burn Down Master's House by Clay Kane, and I just did not have enough spots to be able to get that one. So I'm thinking that I'm going to see if I can either just buy that one or potentially borrow it from my library, because I did really want to read that one as well. And then of course for the bookmarks, they send one per book, which I love. And so now this one says this book is Pause on the back, and it's like this like purpley kind of color, and these are what they look like, and I love these bookmarks. These are some of my favorite bookmarks, so I'm super excited to have these. And yeah, that's it. I will be keeping this box for future use for any Pango orders that I may potentially have later on down the line that need a bit of a bigger box. Plus, I just love the design of the box. Like, I think it's so cute. So I will be hanging on to that. Now, as far as my reading update in Ace of Spades, so I have been able to listen to some more on the way home, and I did read a little bit as we talked in the car a little bit earlier, but I'm now on page 97, and I will say I feel like I am not like feeling super interested in this book right about now, and I don't know if it's just because it's a young adult, but I don't know. I feel like I am interested, but also like I'm not. So I don't know. I'm feeling very kind of like indifferent about it, I guess. I don't know. I'm not like foaming at the mouth to pick this book up, but I am enjoying the little bit that I've read so far. I'm definitely interested to see who Aces is and how everything gets solved. I don't really have any theories right now, but I am definitely interested to know what's going on, who is targeting these Black students at the school and why that is. So I definitely will be reading some more of this. I think I'll probably read a little bit more tonight before going to bed. And yeah, I'll probably update you guys again tomorrow if I have more to update, but I'm hoping that I can finish this sometime tomorrow. Hello. Okay, good morning. Well, actually, it's not the morning, it's definitely afternoon. I have not been feeling super great today, but I do have class in about 30 minutes, and so I'm going to do some more reading of Ace of Spades until my class starts. It is on Zoom, so thankfully I don't have to go anywhere today. But for my update so far, I'm currently on chapter 29. I'm on page 286, so I'm probably about 2/3 done with this, and I feel like I'm a little bit more invested now than I was previously, now that we're starting to get more information about Aces, and I feel like we are starting to get more in that like thriller territory than we were previously. I will say I don't love how long the chapters are in this book. Some chapters are very long and some are a little bit shorter, but I personally just am not a fan of longer chapters in books. So I feel like that is kind of like, I don't know, I feel like that's just kind of bothering me a little bit. But I mean, for the most part, like the way it's written is fine. The story I feel like is moving at a pretty like decent pace. So I don't know, there's nothing inherently wrong with the book. So I feel like it's definitely leaning more into the get out territory at this point in the book, and earlier it started out more of like the Gossip Girl kind of territory, but it seems like it's a lot more sinister than originally thought. So that is interesting, but I am going to sit here and do some more reading until it's time for my class to start. I am hoping to finish this today. I have under 200 pages left, so I'm definitely thinking I can probably finish this here in the next little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep reading, and I will update you guys again once I finished Ace of Spades. Okay, we just got a really big reveal, and oh my god, like that was literally, like I had a feeling that, and I don't want to like spoil anything, but I had a feeling, but not to that extent. And oh my god, like the racism is so rampant in this school, and it's actually insane, and it's so heartbreaking to read about because this is real life and it's awful. It's absolutely awful. And especially in this environment, in this climate, in this administration, like the racism in this book, it does not hold a candle to what Black and brown people experience every day, and it's absolutely disgusting. But I'm like, like it's firing me up. Like, and this obviously is fiction, and like I'm fired up right now, which obviously everything else going on also fires me up. But for the sake of this book, that was absolutely awful and horrible. And I hope that Devon and Chiamaka get their justice, because this is absolutely disgusting and horrible and horrific. And I'm rooting for Devon and Chiamaka because I'm like, they better get their lick back, and I want this school shut down. I want it shut down. Ugh. Anyways, okay, back to reading. God, literally, okay, not that I was like shitting on this book earlier, because I don't really feel like I was just kind of saying that I felt like it was just kind of okay, but now we are in the thick of it. We are getting all of these reveals, and oh my god, I feel like my tune has like completely done a 180, because I feel like all of this setup for the reveals that we're getting right about now, like it's shocking me to my core. Like I am feeling so shocked, and like, oh my goodness, like this was not any way what I would have ever conceived that this is what this was. Oh my god. I have 15 minutes until my class starts. I'm going to be thinking about this the entirety of the class time, I'm sure, because what do you mean? What do you mean? I just finished Ace of Spades by Farida Iamide, and I liked this. So I'm rating this book 4 stars. I feel like the reveals towards the end were so good, and I will say I feel like the way that the situation was handled in the end, I was expecting something different. While it wasn't bad by any means, I was just expecting something a little bit more different in terms of the payoff, and as well as some of the interactions between characters that I would have liked to see. But other than that, I feel like this was a really solid book. It is young adult, which I am not typically a young adult reader now anymore, but I am glad that I finally picked this book up. I would definitely recommend this book. It was so good. The commentary on the racism in life was just so well done, and I don't know, I really liked this book. I would definitely recommend it, especially if you like more of thrilling books, and especially if you are someone who is still reading young adult. I definitely would recommend picking this up. I really liked the themes that were in this book because both of our main characters are queer, which I really enjoyed reading about, especially in the high school setting, and just kind of like learning about yourself and trying to figure out like who you are at the impressionable age of 17. So I just really liked this book, and I'm so happy that I read it and can safely recommend it to you. But now that I am officially done reading Ace of Spades, I will be moving on to the next book for this video. And so I was debating between two, and so I think I'm going to end up starting Immortal Dark by Tika Skirma, and this is more of a fantasy book. I think this one might actually be young adult as well, but this one is vampires, I think, and I think I might have heard somewhere that this is sapphic. I can't remember if that is true or not, but I am very interested in reading this book. I've heard amazing things about it, so this is what I'm going to be starting next. It is a pretty nice day outside, so I think me and Navy might go for a walk here in a second. So that's what I'm thinking potentially we'll do. I do have a package that's in my mailbox that I need to go grab, so we'll see if we end up doing that. But that is my update for now, and I will talk to you guys again once I have an update on Immortal Dark. Okay, so a couple of things. I do have a reading update, but also I do have a couple of packages to unbox really quickly. So Navy and I did take a walk down to the mailbox, and it was actually a little bit cooler outside than I had thought it was going to be. It was actually quite chilly. The wind was really blowing. So let's do packages first and then reading update. So I had 2 packages. So yesterday was New Release Tuesday. So one of these is a new release. I'm just not sure which one. So in this first package, it is my new release. So I got Wicked Onyx by Debbie Cassidy, and this is the first book in the Knightsbridge Academy series. I think is potentially the name of the series. I saw this book in one of the videos that I did during Bookmas, where I was reacting to the top 100 new releases of 2026, and this sounded really interesting, so I pre-ordered it, and I got this like stunning edition with these sprayed edges, and so I'm super excited to read this. I think this is like a dark fantasy romance potentially, so I'm super intrigued by this, and I am super excited to read this, so hopefully I can get to it soon. And then this last one is, let's see, Runebreaker by Mila Finch. This is not what I thought was going to be in here, but I ordered this a few days ago, I think. I saw, a TikTok about this, and this follows Ailey, who can break runes with her bare hands, and this is a fae fantasy romance. So I picked this up. It sounded good based on the TikTok that I saw about it, so picked this up. And I thought I was having another one that was coming today too, but maybe it's on my front porch and I just haven't seen it yet, or maybe it's not here. I don't know. But so these are the 2 for my little book haul that I ordered So now for my reading update. So I'm now on chapter 12, page 54. I don't really know how I'm feeling about this so far. We're following Kaiden, and her sister has been kidnapped, and so she thinks that these like vampires kidnapped her sister, and so she has been, I guess, like killing vampires to try and find out what happened to her sister. I feel like it's a little bit unclear as to who she's killing, but like from what I can gather, it seems to be vampires, because she is made to go to this school to get in this house. Okay, sorry about that. Navy had a doggy friend come over, and they got here a lot sooner than I thought they were going to be. Like, I thought I still had at least like a few minutes to update you guys before they got here. So going back to my reading update of Immortal Dark. So I'm on chapter 12, page 54. And so far I'm a little confused as to what is actually going on in this book. It seems like we're trying to get revenge for Kaiden's sister, or like trying to find Kaiden's sister, but she has gone to this college where the vampires go, and she has to like live in this house in order to be able to get this inheritance of some sort. But she's looking for her sister, and she thinks that the vampires have her sister. So I don't really know what else is kind of going on. She is the only person, I believe, that's left of her like home or like her lineage, other than like her and her sister. But I'm assuming that her sister is probably dead. Like, I feel like, as we always tend to usually assume, but I don't know, we'll see. But it's the Arcane Society, and human bloodlines gain power through vampire companionship. And since her sister has disappeared, she's convinced that a vampire stole her, and the vampire that's bound to their family, she thinks that the vampire that's bound to their family kidnapped her sister. So she's essentially there trying to find her sister, and that's where we're at so far. She has to go stand trial, I guess, because she's been killing these like vampires, trying to find out who took her sister, and it's led her back to the vampire from her like family lineage or whatever. I don't really know how that works right now. I'm still very early in the book, but so far I'm enjoying it. So far, I mean, I'm only 50 pages in, so I'm definitely intrigued to see where it's going to continue to go, and hopefully I continue to like it. I haven't really looked at many reviews on this book, but from what I've heard about it, a lot of people do seem to enjoy it, so I'm hoping that I'm going to enjoy it as well. But I'm about to figure out some dinner really quickly, and might watch an episode of Heated Rivalry, because that's kind of how I'm feeling tonight. I have already done my homework. I had an exam that I had to take today, so I took that earlier before my class, and I went to my class, of course, and so now I just have the rest of the evening to read and do whatever. So I'm gonna log these 2 new books into my Notion, and then I'm gonna get back to reading, figure out dinner, and potentially watch some Heated Rivalry. So that's where I'm at for the night, and I'll probably update again if I have more thoughts and things on Immortal Dark. Good morning. I'm about to go to my hair appointment, but I found this on the porch this morning. So this is that other book that I was talking about yesterday when we did the unboxing that I thought was coming, and I guess they finally delivered it last night, probably sometime between like when I last talked to you and when I went to bed. So this packaging is so weird. It's not like any other packaging I've seen before, but okay. So, and of course it's damaged. It literally, I ordered this book so long ago, and every time I'd be like, oh, it'll be delivered this day, it got pushed back and got pushed back and got pushed back and got pushed back over and over again. So unfortunately it is a little bit damaged, but I'm not even gonna worry about it, I don't think. But I ended up picking up Daggermouth by H.M. Wolf, and this book has been all over the internet recently, so I'm definitely interested to see what I'm gonna think about this. I really like this cover, and I'm so excited to have this. I have a feeling this is probably gonna get picked up pretty soon, so just because of the popularity that it has seen over the last like couple of weeks. So I grabbed this and hope I'm gonna like it. It's a dystopian romance, I want to say, so I'm definitely excited to read this. And I think it might be a little bit on the darker side, but yeah, there's quite a bit of triggers. It says Daggermouth is an adult dystopian romance with heavy themes. So yeah, I'm excited to pick this one up. So I'm probably going to pick this one up soon. Also, this is a Black author as well. So excited to have this and adding this to the TBR. I'm gonna update my Notion really quickly, and then I'm gonna put Navy up and head out so that way I can go get my hair done, because it's literally been, I got my hair done the first week of January and it's now the second week of February. So it's time, and yeah, I'm gonna miss the curls. I feel like I love when my hair is curled, but like I also love when it's straight at the same time. And I know that has nothing to do with anything that's going on in this vlog right now, but yeah. Anyways, so I'm gonna update my Notion and get ready to go, and I will talk to you guys when I get back later. I did have a little bit of an update on Immortal Dark, but not a super big update. I think I'm on chapter like 23, so I'm around like 100 and something pages in to the book. Not much to update. It is a true enemies to lovers, which I am liking, but I don't know. I'm just gonna keep reading, and hopefully like some of the pieces start to click together for me, because right now I feel like the pieces I'm not really seeing how they go together at the moment. So I'm struggling a little bit with the world building in this one, but I'm hoping that the more that I read, the better I start to understand it and the more it starts to click in my brain. So with that, I'm gonna go, and I will talk to you guys once I get home. Hello. Okay, so I did not talk to you guys yesterday after I got my hair done, and I also did not read anything yesterday because the plans that I was supposed to have today ended up getting rescheduled to last night, so I did not do any reading yesterday. But today, while Navy was at the groomer, I've been doing quite a bit of reading in Immortal Dark. I'm actually almost through with it. I'm currently on chapter 62, page 338. So I have this much left before I finish this book, and I am going to sit here and read for a little while. I have a meeting with my capstone group in about 30 minutes and our sponsor, so I am going to read this until it's time to hop on that call, and then hopefully when that call is over I can finish this book. And then I am gonna have to put a slight pause on this video so that way I can film another video, and then I will jump back in to this video with the next book, but it will also be the last book for this video. So my plan right now is to read some of this and see how much of this I can get read in the next 30 minutes until my meeting, and I will update you guys again once I am finished with Immortal Dark. So it's a little bit later now. I had my meeting with my group. Our sponsor ended up having to cancel, but we just ended up having the meeting anyway. But I just finished Immortal Dark by Tigist Germa like literally 2 seconds ago. I barely even closed the book. Good. That's how long ago I finished this book. So I think I'm gonna end up rating this book 3.5 stars. I liked it, but I don't think I liked it enough to continue on in the series. I felt like it was a very solid debut novel. I feel like it was an interesting world and an interesting concept. While I feel like some of the hierarchies didn't really make sense to me as the reader, I can see how like someone else would really love the world and the things that were going on in this book. And this is a true enemies to lovers, which I enjoyed reading, but I don't know, I just felt like there was just so much going on, and the why wasn't really clicking to me or something that I was really like gravitating towards. And I personally don't love a female revenge story, and this is what that was. It's just not my favorite thing to read about. While I do support women's rights and their wrongs, I just don't really know how I feel about a revenge story. It's just not something that I love reading about. I feel like when it's done well, then like, okay, but, and not saying that this one wasn't done well, I just didn't really care to read about Keaton's like hatred, if that makes sense. I don't know. I feel like the overall plot was fine. I don't know. I feel like it was a little boring in places, and I feel like the book was very quick paced, but it did feel very long in some spots. Because now the lighting's wanting to act up. Let me see if I can fix the lighting. I don't know. So overall, just 3.5 stars to Immortal Dark. I don't think I'm going to continue on in the series. I feel like if I were to be spoiled for this, I don't think that would bother me. So I am curious to know a little bit what is going to happen eventually, but not curious enough to read the next books in the series. So unfortunately, this one, while I enjoyed it, it just wasn't a winner for me. So with that being said, I'm now going to be moving on to the final book that I'm going to be reading in this video, and I do have some high hopes for this one, so I'm hoping that I'm going to really like it, and that is I, Medusa by Ayana Gray, and I will be starting this in the next few days. Like I mentioned earlier, I am going to have to pause this video for a couple of days to film something else, but then I will be getting right back into this, and I'm so excited to start this. This book is pretty short, so I'm hoping that it'll be a quick read and that it'll really suck me in and I'll just really enjoy this book. So this is the next book that I'm going to be starting for this video, and I will update you guys again once I have started I, Medusa. So I just started I, Medusa, and so far I am really enjoying this. I'm not very far at all in it, like literally still in chapter 1. I'm only on page 11, but so far, based on the after, and which, okay, I say after, but it's like, that's what it's titled, but like after what is essentially the prologue and the first couple of pages, I just have a feeling that I'm really going to like this book. And maybe something is just really drawing me towards retellings at the moment, but I'm super excited to get into this. I'm getting ready to go to bed because I do actually have to go to work tomorrow. It is my first day back at work since my mom's passing. So I am trying to go to bed a little bit early because I obviously haven't been to work in 3 weeks. So I want to make sure that I'm well rested. So I think I'm probably going to stay up and read for about 30 more minutes and see how far I can get into I, Medusa. But I did just want to pop in and let you guys know that I did start it, and so far I am enjoying it. So with that, I will talk to you guys again once I've made more headway into I, Medusa. So it has been a few days, I want to say, since I last updated. I have done some reading today. So I, of course, am reading I, Medusa by Ayana Gray, and I am currently on chapter 14. I'm 136 pages into the book, so just under halfway through, and so far my thoughts on this are that it's kind of slow. Like, I was hoping that we would kind of be at the point of her being turned into what we know as Medusa at around this point, but from what I can tell, it doesn't seem like she will have her hair turned into snakes until like a little bit later in the book, closer to the end. But I was hoping that we would kind of get the situation that caused that to happen towards the beginning, and then kind of see how that affects her and like where she goes from there, like towards the end. But it doesn't seem like that's the way that the story is going. So essentially right now we're following Medusa, and she is from this island. Her parents are these two gods who were older than the Olympians and have since been kind of like demoted in a sense now that the Olympians have taken over. And so Medusa ends up meeting Athena in like a way that I don't really want to like say because I don't want to spoil anything, but she ends up meeting Athena, and Athena offers her a position in her temple as like an acolyte to be essentially become a priestess for Athena in Athens. And so now we're following Medusa as she's going through her acolyte training to become a priestess. And so we're getting a lot of the before she becomes who she is. And I feel like it's like setting up for what causes her to become the Medusa that we all know. But I do fear that it isn't going to give the payoff that I'm looking for, but I also don't know. I'm hoping that it'll start to kind of pick up a little bit, but I'm having a hard time kind of getting into it and kind of really wanting to read it because it's not very like plot heavy. It's kind of more like character based. Like obviously like there is a plot, right? Like she grew up on this island. Now she's going to become this priestess, or attempt to become this priestess anyway. And in the dust jacket, it says that her locks are transformed into snakes for a punishment for a crime that she did not commit. But I assumed that that would happen earlier in the book. And that is why I don't love reading like the blurbs, because I'm almost halfway into the book and like, this has not happened. And I feel like this spoils a lot of the stuff because it's like we're talking about how she's introduced to this person in the blurb, but she doesn't even like, she's met the person, but she doesn't even know their name at this point. So I'm just like, I feel like the pacing is kind of off to me, and I feel like I'm having a hard time with the pacing. So I'm probably going to put this down for the night because honestly I'm kind of over reading it. I don't know, I'm not liking it like I thought I was going to, and I just thought it was going to be different than it is. But I will say like the writing is good. I enjoy the writing. I feel like the storytelling aspect of it has been good so far. I was just expecting more, I think, and maybe even something a little bit different. I don't know, but we'll see as I continue reading. I'm hoping to potentially finish this tomorrow, so I might read a little bit more. I was kind of hoping to finish part 2 tonight, but that is still kind of like 40 more pages, and I just don't know if I want to read 40 more pages tonight. So I'm thinking I might put it down. I think I'm gonna try one more chapter, but I feel like the chapters also too are like kind of long, and I hate long chapters. So yeah, I don't know. I had what I felt was high hopes for this, and so I'm hoping that it starts to kind of give us a little bit more as I continue. I don't know, but anyways, so I'm gonna go for now, and I will probably update again once I finish, potentially. I don't know. So yeah, definitely planning on finishing this sometime tomorrow. Just finished I'm Medusa, and I am going to rate this book 3.5 stars. So I enjoyed it, but it wasn't my favorite. I felt like it was kind of slow and also like kind of boring. I don't know. I honestly felt like this was very slow and honestly kind of boring at some points. Like while the overall story I feel like I enjoyed, I just felt like this was so much slower than I anticipated, and things just happened at a pace that I was not expecting. I definitely thought we would get a bit more of her revenge arc, and the reason that her hair was turned into snakes, I feel like we would have gotten that a lot earlier in the book than we did. I will say I was expecting, especially with the way that it started, because the like prologue essentially is basically like a snippet of something that happens later in the book that you don't really get the details on because it happened at the beginning, and I had expected that thing to happen a lot further in the like towards the front of the book than it did, because it happened like at the very end, and I was just hoping that we would get more. I don't know. I didn't really think that this would be kind of more of like a reimagining on her backstory. I just thought that it would just be kind of a retelling. We'd get a little bit of the backstory, probably about the first 100 to 150 pages, and then she gets turned, and then after that, like the rest is almost like her taking revenge on the people that wronged her and kind of seeing who she is until she is eventually murdered. And it just didn't happen like that. But I mean, overall it was fine. I feel like the writing was good. I just didn't love the pacing, like I said, but I mean, overall, like the story itself was fine. Like I don't really have any complaints about the actual like story arc, just the pacing and the slowness of it. And honestly, that's about it. But I mean, I liked Medusa as a character, Medi, and I wish we would have explored the dynamics between her and her sisters a little bit more. And there was just some things that I wish we would have explored a bit more. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I would recommend it if you're looking for a Greek mythology retelling. I feel like this is different. I feel like it's not something that I've read before. I feel like a lot of the times when people do retellings, it's other gods and goddesses. I feel like a lot of it's usually like Hades and Persephone, and I feel like this was a breath of fresh air because while it is a retelling, it's not the same retelling, if that makes sense. And I mean, overall, yeah, I mean, I liked it. I thought it was good. Not my favorite, but I'm glad that I read it. But now that I'm done with I, Medusa, I am officially done with all the books that I was planning on reading in this video. So in today's video, I mainly prioritized reading Black authors, and I feel like I had a really good time. I feel like I read some stories that I've been wanting to read for a while, and I feel like all in all, it was just a great reading week. I know some of the ratings weren't like the best, and like some of the books weren't necessarily my favorite, but I just feel like there's so many great stories out there by Black authors, and I want to continue to read them throughout the year and just in general. So I'm happy to have read the books that I read in this video, and I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content from me. I will have all of my social media linked in the description, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.